buttons all over the walls did no favors for the decor.
Does anything seem different now? Now, to find out what effect that had. Did that cause a reaction? I wonder what that did. Does anything seem different now? now to find out what effect that had. I wonder what that did.
Well, that was efficient.
Welcome, Source Hunter. Welcome. I must admit I'm rather disturbed by your presence here. Not because I fear you, no. Because I must assume that the goddess has willed us to meet like this. Like intimates, in these holy chambers. Perhaps she wishes for you to see, Source Hunter. Perhaps she wishes for you to understand our way. Perhaps she has willed it time for our factions to walk side by side toward a new beginning. This history of Source versus Hunter is as long as it is gruesome. Aren't you tired of fighting? So what if it is dark? What is so terrible about darkness? I ask you why a natural and neutral aspect of the cosmos, of our lives, can be banished. It is easy to view death, or sacrifice, as we practice it, as inherently negative. But the easy perspective is very infrequently correct. Why regard death, an utterly unavoidable aspect of our very natures, with fear and panic? Only by abandoning the fear of death do we truly live. You say Source is dark. We say that to use it is to embrace the so-called darkness within each and every mortal. How can we deem an aspect of our very selves to be dark? Who decided that to die was a weakness, a failure, a tragedy? No. To die is to be completed. To kill them, to kill, is to carry this completion forward. Ah, Source Hunter, this is what the Conduit fears you will never understand. For how could you? Your kind are agents of maintenance. You must keep the established order. You must enforce the existing laws. But what if everything you know is a mere shadow of what could be? What if you are regulating a system that is inherently broken? Though I doubt you will grasp this, Source Hunter, we Immaculates have come to believe that the life we live is no true life. And we seek to restore a better, more authentic existence. The original way, Source Hunter. The singular awareness that was once the void. Before we were wrenched apart by existence. Before we were separated into a million warring minds. And the time is nigh. Each sacrifice brings the void closer. Each bloodstone helps the Conduit to call it nearer. She and she alone communicates with the goddess. She and she alone can bring the goddess' intention to the ears of the faithful. Whither the goddess turns her eyes, the Conduit is there to enact her will. And now do you see, Source Hunter? Do you understand that walking the Immaculate Path is the only way to conclude this experiment called existence. Do you see that to bring true balance, true equilibrium, we must rejoin one another in the void? And do you see why I cannot permit you to intervene in what is coming?
Strike from the eye of the storm.
Ooh!
As good as the new pin.
Treasure!
Eyes on the prize.
Sigurd's beard! What a find!
A stitch in time, eh, my friends?
So Leandra's devised a method for destroying Death Knights.
That sounds more than promising.
Gods! Leandra's building an army in order to defeat Astarte and unleash the Void.
Our friends on the homestead will want to hear this right away. Now that we know exactly what she's doing, we've got the advantage over the so-called conduit.
Fortune!
A map to the Source Temple in the Phantom Forest. Sounds like a location worth noting.
What's the word, Source Hunter? You're 2 steps ahead of my sister, dear Source Hunter. With that vial of her blood, and the fail-safe spell you rescued from the mines, you can craft a piece of magic powerful enough to render her army vulnerable. So that's her plan. She intends to summon Astarte and the Void Dragon and overwhelm the goddess with an unstoppable army. With Astarte gone, there will be nothing to stop the Void from consuming all of Rivellon. Our mission is greater than us, greater than Leandra, Source Hunter. It is a quest to save all of existence from eternal blackness. Her plan must not succeed. Sister, what have you done? Source Hunter, you've learned so much already. That spell you found. If it's to be believed, Leandra has created Death Knights. Only that spell, combined with her blood, will make them vulnerable to attack.
survivor. If you know all that is past and present, does that mean you know the future as well?
Alas, no. I can predict with a degree of certainty, but I cannot speak of what is to come unequivocally. Time and I are one, but we must both run our course before reaching reality. That is a good question, Zigzags. One without a conclusive answer, though its resolution may lie in conception. Where you chronicle, I both chronicle and create. Where you arrive at conclusions, I spin origins besides. What's the word, Source Hunter? Why, it seems you're more than caught up, aren't you? You've already got the spell and the blood, both of which we'll need, if the spell is to be believed, to slice through Leandra's army of Death Knights. Remarkable. That means we've only to find Zandalor now. Long ago, when Source was banished, a league of great men and women promised to protect its secrets. The Keepers of the Source, they called themselves. Our wizard is its last living member. That night in the King Crab Inn, Leandra was after something that only he knew. Find him, and you'll learn where to find her. He lives in Hunter's Edge, a village east of Lucula. When last I saw him, he was in a panic about Leandra's betrayal. It's possible that he'll have flown Hunter's Edge. You may need to investigate to find a hint of his whereabouts. Take this ring. It will mark you as my ally. If you should find Zandalor, he'll know I sent you.
To see you on the shelter plane. A home away from home, is it not? Did you? Most wonderful. Could I have a quick read? Yes. Crikey, Dragon of the Void, She doesn't mess around now, does she? The Temple of the Source. I've heard of such a place buried deep within the forbidden confines of a cursed phantom forest. That is where your travel should take you, east of the Lacula Woods, even though death hangs over that place like a ghostly fog. You should go to Hunter's Edge, the village that borders those haunted woodlands. That is where Zandalore lives. The wizard Leandra is hunting. He is knowledgeable of the source, and his capture by the Void Seekers would be catastrophic indeed.
Did someone leave an oven door open?
Potent heat!
To me, my goblins.
Bit of
Yeah.
Warm as dragon's breath!
Gather round your totem. The spirits die for me, my goblins.
Fresh
Die!
I'm overheating here!
Now rise from the dead once more and drink great spirit rum.
Warm as dragon's breath.
Gilligan just had a long bath in a cold lake.
The reverence of this totem now stand. And for the reverence of this totem now stand. Enough. Go and rest. Drink spirit wine.
The power of hell purifies the earth.
Dance for me, goblins. Revere me with a jolly jig. Enough. Go and rest. Drink spirit wine.
Bloodstone, as powerful as it is sinister.
Hot under the collar!
The day is ours! And by the fists of harder granite flesh, what a victory this is! We have overcome even the might of Bloodstones Unleashed, which will, I believe, both please and fear the blessed conduit. But don't think I didn't notice your prowess in battle either. It's good to have you on our side. You have the Brothers of Tanneroth's undying respect. As shall we. The conduit will want these stones refilled with human blood. Back in the direction of the mountains we'll go, and seek for fresh hamlets to plunder. Off we go, sons of the peaks! And you, Immaculate, blessings of a Canto Druidborn be upon thee. Feeling hot under the collar?
Feeling hot under the collar!
What a deluge!
I could do with a cold drink.
Heating up.
Back on my feet again. I need to dry off.
Into the fray once more.
What a
Salt to
deluge!
the skin.
I've spotted something interesting.
This boulder looks strange. Unreal, even.
Who are you? Stay away from my family. They know nothing of the wizard. Take me. A source hunter? Lodian, the gods have answered our prayers. I can think of no more welcome deliverer from this predicament than one of your esteemed order. Seven bless us, and you too. Aye, we three laboured under Zandalor's employ. He was right decent to us, and it's thanks to him we managed to escape the brutes upstairs. Zandalor prepared this hidden place long ago. It's almost as though he knew, somehow, that this day would come. Or perhaps he knew only that the forces of evil would always pursue those of goodness and light. Many years ago, he told us that if ever we found ourselves in danger, we should flee to this cellar. Shut fast its door, he said, and mark the jam with a chalk pentangle. This will call forth the magic I have assigned for your protection. It seems our friend was true to his word. Zandalor is a brilliant man, even among wizards. Why he chose to settle in this sleepy little town, I can't say. But then again, he never did remain for long. Always dashing off to attend to some matter or other, our wizard. We cared for his home while he was away and attended to him when he was in. We were quite fond of him, and I do believe he was rather fond of us too. It seems that when we triggered this cellar's defenses, he knew straight away. Within a minute or so, a strange orb of light appeared before us. It grew sharper and sharper about the edges. I held out my hands to grasp it, and it fell, heavy as a pearl, in my hands. From the orb came Zandalor's voice, clear and strong, as though he were standing just before me. His voice was hurried, strained in a way I'd never heard before. Something unthinkable, that he was traveling through the Phantom Forest, that heart of horrors, and into the ancient Source Temple that rests within its cursed depths. He told us to wait for the White Witch, asked us to deliver a message, something important by the sound of it. We wrote it down, word for word, and will pass it along whenever it is she comes. I know little more than its name implies, but if a Temple of Source does indeed rest within that blighted forest, a greater evil I cannot imagine. Many is the year since ghoul or beast has ventured out of the defiled sanctuary of those woods, yet still we of the village dare not enter. Legend says that to set a single foot into the Phantom Forest is to invite death's grasp. It's a legend none wish to test. As you may know, this town was founded as the last bulwark against the Source monstrosities that reside within that terrible place. After the fall of Brachus Rex, the defeated darkness retreated to those woods. And haunted they have remained ever since. That ring! Hekara's blessing! Zandalore has the same. I'd recognize it anywhere. So the White Witch sent you, did she? I should have known she'd not sit idly by while the world turned topsy-turvy. Zandalore's message is as such. He's gone to the Source Temple in the Phantom Forest, and he wants her, or I suppose you, her messengers, to follow him there. In order to enter the forest, you'll need an amulet. He stored it in a small chest near his personal waypoint. Once you're inside the forest, you'll need to find the forest spirit. This spirit will give you the rune you need to enter the Source Temple. But first things first, if you want to get inside Zandalore's house, you'll need to use the portal in this very room. I've the crystal you need in order to activate it. Still, entering the house will be the least of your worries. Zandalore himself has called forth every manner of protection to discourage would-be intruders, and you will have to defeat them all in order to reach the bedroom. Now, the last thing he said doesn't make much sense to an outsider. Perhaps you or the witch will manage to make better sense of it. He said, and I quote, "She is coming. I only hope I can reach the temple first. If she finds the portal..." He didn't finish after that. Before you go, perhaps we might impose on you, well, a favor, you see. Source Hunter, we need a way out of this place. It's only a matter of time before the savages upstairs find us, and trying to leave through the village is as good as suicide. But Zandalore has his own means of travel, a waypoint shrine in his own chambers reserved for his personal use. If we could only get there, we'd be able to flee this place lickety-split. The only trouble is what I've already mentioned. The wizard's house is rigged from top to bottom. If you'll be disabling its defenses, we'll slip through without problem. Good luck, Source Hunter, and unimaginable thanks from me and mine.
Make yourself at home for the present. We haven't much to offer, but my wife can tell you plenty about the wizard. He's a good and decent man, our Zandalore. Without him, we'd have been ripped apart and tossed aside by the marauders outside this cellar. My wife can tell you more, if it's more you wish to know.
How very strange to see a friendly face in these dark times. Strange, but welcome. Oh, that dear fellow. He had a great many friends and acquaintances, from local witches to mighty spirits. His dining room was always full of conversations of every conceivable topic, and it was a pleasure to listen in. But he had been somewhat despondent these past few years, ever since return from an extended visit to Luculla Forest. His long face and nervous eyes were new features to his typically sunny disposition. We never did learn the source of his discomfort, but I always kept him in my prayers. A cat told you? I don't know much about source hunters, but I never knew them to be, well, cat whisperers or any such thing. Nevertheless, I suppose I've seen stranger things around a wizard's table. If what you say is true, it must be Jinxica to whom you spoke. How wonderful to hear she lives. I feared she'd been lost to the orcs or the wilds, but it seems our kind Kitty has been helping us all this time. We called for old Jinxie before going into hiding, but this little stray here was the only one who showed up. I figured better to save one little whiskered friend than none.
Where am I? Is this real? I feel as though I've been living in a dream. I was bathing myself, as I've done a million times over, when suddenly a curious sensation came over me, as if my mind were no longer mine. I saw, but I did not see. I was as one possessed.
revelation? There must be something of some value hidden here.
I feel better already!
Into the fray once more.
Into the fray once more.
Sweet relief.
Into the fray once more.
It doesn't seem to work here.
On the bed!
It doesn't seem to work here. It doesn't seem to work here.
I feel better already! Stitch of time, eh, my friends?
As good as a new penny.
Bless the seven. I am restored. Sweet relief.
As good as a new penny. Bless the seven I am restored.
Sweet relief. As good as a new penny.
I feel better already.
It doesn't seem to work here.
I cannot endure this fiery agony!
Nurtures our land.
I feel like I just had a long bath in a cold lake.
Bless the seven I am restored.
Sweet relief.
On the mend.
I needed that.
I needed that. Sweet relief. Sweet relief. On the mend.
Into the fray once
my
more.
friends. I needed that.
Sweet relief. As good as a new penny.
I needed that.
Into the fray once more.
As good as a new penny.
It doesn't seem to work here.
What trickery is this?
The Inferno devours me.
Back on my feet again.
As good as a new penny. Back on my feet again.
As good as a new penny.
I feel better already.
Sweet
relief.
Back on my feet again.
Wargraf grins and waves his magical quill triumphantly. This must be the very room he once stole it from.
It's just a little quill, isn't it? And you've made such good use of it after all.
A stitch in time, eh, my friends?
I feel better already.
I feel better already.
Into the fray once more. Back on my feet again. As good as a new penny.
Friend, how can we help you? Oh, yes, let's! Have you cleared a path to Zandalor's shrine? We're so very eager to get out of this dank little hole. Great gods above! That's fantastic news! I can nearly smell the fresh air already. Psst! Before we go, I might be able to offer you a little tip. When I was cleaning the wizard's guest rooms, I'd often hear him whisper Ikara to a locked chest in his chamber. I can't say for certain what's in there, but perhaps it will help you on your journey. Thank you for your aid, my hero.
Treasure, treasure on the ground. Who's the grandest dame in town? Aren't you a dear? What is it you like best about that lovely lady? The sweet cadence of her voice? Her fair grace? The whole package has impressed you, I do suppose. Well chosen indeed.
I'm overheating here.
Did someone leave an oven door open?
Ugh, I'm dripping.
Hello again. Do you bring good news? Their hiding place is enchanted, you see. Jinxica is my name. If you come to this, the dark would that an invasion each life, the human tribe came shortly after. They had their own supply.
All the way to my boot soles!
Oh, I could do with a cold drink.
Potent heat.
Source Hunter, you stand at the very doorstep of dreaded Phantom Forest, and before you enter these woods, I need to tell you something. Something about me and Cassandra. The first thing you should know, my friend, is that I am not a human. I am in fact a true cat. At least, such was my start in life. I will tell you all, and all begins with Cassandra. Her tale is not a happy one. She was kept like a prisoner in her brother Brachus's castle. Locked up, alone in a tower like some fairy tale princess. One day, though, I came along. A young little tomcat that climbed up the branches of a tree, reaching her window. She was kind to me, fed me well and petted me to my heart's content. But her loneliness drove her to do more. She was a sorceress, you see, and with her magic gave me human consciousness and a voice to give it expression. We talked the days away, content to know one another, but once more, her loneliness drove her further. One morning I woke, and to my horror, yes, horror, I was a man. A cat no longer. Don't worry, she assured me. You can be your own self still, but here with me, a man you must be. Despite my confusion and apprehension, I admit it didn't take long for me to enjoy the newfound pleasures of a newfound existence. I loved her, truly. Loved her deeply. But then her brother took her. And when she returned, she was a lich, twisted and vile. In terror, I recoiled, fled our tower, and was soon discovered by Brachus's sentinels. They dragged me to the Mad King. So enraged was he to discover she had loved another that he feasted all his wrath upon me. All that is sweet and good in life ceased for many long years. Yet, despite it all, I loved Cassandra still, remembering the woman that was. So when the Source Hunters came, I wasn't simply liberated like I told you. No. I searched for Cassandra and, knowing she'd be executed on the spot, helped her make her escape. I, Hunter. I helped a sorceress lich escape. And that is the very reason I'm divulging all this. To warn you that she is here. Yes, it is true. Cassandra is the phantom that gives Phantom Forest its name. I fear that will indeed be inevitable. This is her forest now. She its queen. No trespass remains without consequence, and I have no clue how her mind twists and turns after all these years. Human yet, or horror only. Humanity. Oh, how I hope, imperfect though it may be, that a glimpse of humanity may still lie buried beneath the lich Cassandra is today. Be that as it may, stand warned that she possesses phenomenal powers, and that she is impervious to the sting of sword or sorcery. I haven't laid eyes on Cassandra in many ages, Hunter. And I fear for what you may find. Fear for what I may find.
What a tale that was. A cat turned human, soon swept into all kinds of misery for all his troubles. Agreed. Perhaps one day he'll love again and see there is value to be found in being human after all.
Zandal's amulet is protecting me.
Really dragging here.
Spectral taint has no effect. Zandal's amulet is protecting me. Spectral taint has no effect. I'm clear of the Spectre's taint. It seems only the area directly around the bridge is haunted.
Back on my feet again.
Turn back! Turn back while you can! Cassandra, our mother, our queen, our killer, our corpse. I am her prey. I am her subject. I am her soul. Lick Queen, you cannot touch her. You cannot pierce her. You cannot kill her. Forever will she reign. Forever we are her subjects. Turn back. Turn back while you can. The phantom will take you. The forest will hold you. Cassandra, our mother. I feed the lich. She consumed me. Of her I remain. The dead pay tribute. The temple honors her. The temple of the dead. Phantom will take you. The forest will hold you. Do you come from where the sun shines? Do you bring news of dawn? Turn back. These lands belong to her. The queen of the dead, the queen of the doomed, Cassandra. I am her prey. I am her subject. I am her soul. The temple rejects life. The temple takes only the dead. She rejects life. She rules death. You come from where the sun shines. Do you bring news of dawn?
I needed that.
A stitch of time.
Tinson dugongs, you nearly startled me out of my boots.
Sweet relief.
On the mend. Bless the seven eye of a storm.
I needed that.
I feel better already.
I feel better already.
The boar tries to grunt and squeal, but not a note high or low does it produce. Its entire body bespeaks an exasperated frustration at being unable to do so. The boar energetically points towards the downward sloping path. Whoever robbed him of his voice might be close by indeed.
Walgraf almost pushes you in the direction the boar motioned towards. He knows he's close to a voice snatcher, and he intends to confront him as soon as possible. Walgraf's lips bend into a cruel smile as he readies his weapon. Whoever is down there has a mortal enemy heading right for him.